Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this is meeting you. Welcome! You found this video for a reason. Come hang out for a bit. I have my morning coffee because I'm in California and it's morning here. And I'm taking it slow. There's this energy of, where do you even really begin? There's so much puzzle pieces, but there's this energy of it is safe to slow down. So if you feel like you're needing that essence, that energy, that permission to slow down and that it's okay, come hang out for a bit. We're going to talk. If you've been with me since the beginning, which technically is new, it's fresh. I just started doing these videos like maybe 3 months ago. So it's very fresh, it's very new. So if you've been with me since the beginning, you know what's up. Usually I riff because I've been in a transition and I feel like I'm gonna use a personal story to kind of create this mirror effect because we're all mirroring each other at the end of the day. And I do believe that like when personal stories are said with the intention of this is what I've been through and this is what I learned, they're beautiful and relevant, not sure what that word is, but relevant. There's beauty in it, right? But when we use personal stories out of a heaviness or maybe it's interesting because sometimes we can use our personal stories to get the love that we need that we didn't have because all of a sudden, because of your hardship, you have people who care. So you use it to attract love and support. And there's nothing wrong with that. First of all, I want to say that is valid, right? We're doing the best that we can with the tools that we have and the knowing that we have. So just know if you're new here, I'm also a very big believer of recognizing that there's duality in life, right? The light and the shadow, but there's also the in-between of that, which is, the gray area or the Trinity effect, or where you turn poison into medicine, your free will, your empowerment, your alignment. It's basically what you decide. It's your power. So you have the light, the dark, and then you and your essence and what you make of the cards that you've been dealt in this lifetime. So just know that like when you're in this space with me, which by the way, I'm Mystic Maya, and I'm so happy that you've decided to be here with me for 3 minutes so far. If you're here and you're present, most likely we're a part of the same tribe, so welcome. But you'll get to know, if you don't know already, that I'm a big advocate of dwelling, exploring, getting curious in that gray area. And I think it's kind of interesting that I wore the Pink Floyd t-shirt because this is literally what we're talking about. It's like in this Trinity effect of, the light, the dark, there's this other possibility that is all determined on what you make of it. And then you can create rainbows, a prism of your circumstances. So I'm going to use personal stories probably in and out of channeling on these videos to show, if I talk about it, it's probably because I overcame something and there's a lesson. And it's also a reminder, even me as the vessel who's sharing it, no one is 100% perfect. I don't believe in perfectionism. Perfectionism got the best of me for so many years until I realized oh my God, perfectionism is just another name for consistency. And when you dissect consistency, you realize it doesn't matter if you show up every day in this in the same way, in the perfect way. What matters is your intention in showing up. Did you show up with your heart? Or did you show up with your mind, which is connected to logic and more of the 3D external experiences and expectations, right? So anyways, if you're here, most likely you've been on this roller coaster of choosing you, choosing what it feels like and what it means to be in alignment based on your values, your dreams, your vibration, and not the vibration of others. We only know what we know until we know it. And most likely, if you're here, you have a past tendency of people pleasing, or have had some narcissists in your life, or parents that weren't really functional but more dysfunctional, or struggle to find your place because you had to identify yourself as a black sheep because it's the only other way for you to actually find an identity that was in alignment to you. 555, as I said that. So if you're here, most likely you've had a lot of traumatic cards on your table. And that's not to say that that is good or bad, right? Coming back to that duality and Trinity effect, it's what you make of it. Because we all experience trauma with a capital T, or just a short case T. And they're all valid. No trauma is better than the other. There's no comparison with pain. And that's something that I really emphasize, because there was a time when I would be around circles of people where they would, and God bless them, because I was in that circle, therefore my energy at the time was vibrating at that level. So it's like I was there too. We are all evolving and growing, but the only difference is some people stay the same and some people take on the badge of change and wear it on their sleeve and say, let's do this. Change is discomforting, but it's also liberating. But at the time, I noticed that I was sitting at these tables where we were having discussions about whose pain is more grander, or takes up the most space, or is whoever's been through the most suffering deserves the biggest medal. And it's like, reflecting on that, I'm like, oh my gosh, who are we to even judge or depict what suffering is better than the other? So if we can just get curious that no matter what you've been through and where you're at in life, compassion is splashing. Compassion is the currency. Compassion is what opens the gateway to all of our wildest dreams. Compassion is what grounds us. Compassion is what allows us to go deeper in this essence of curiosity between the light and the shadow, and finding what lies in the in-between, which is our heart. Literally, our heart. It literally lies in the center of our chest, in the midpoint. It is our duty as a human, which is really a different way of saying a spiritual being in a human body. But as a human creature, it is our responsibility to learn how to lead with the heart. And we have lots of distractions. So it's not always easy, right? But what I'm learning is the long path is the most rooted path. All because others are taking shortcuts or are receiving their manifestation in what seems to you from your parallax in a shorter way. It doesn't mean, okay. I'm getting kind of the sign not to talk about that. So we will talk about that in a different video of the path, the long path, the short path, and what it means. But just to not leave you hanging, I will share this, because it's like I started something and then I'm like, wait, no. It's like when you tell the kid, don't touch the red light. And then they're like, but I want to touch the red light. Like you just planted a seed and then left me hanging. So I will say this. We're all evolving at our own karmic level. And your long path might be someone's short path, and your short path might be someone's long path. And it goes to say that, like, there's no comparison in the game of life because we're all evolving at our own unique imprint. There we go. 10:10 as I said that. And we'll go deeper because every channel message will have its own flow. And I feel like the even start of this open dialogue, which is one of my pillars here on this beautiful channel, is open dialogue, creativity, and energy work. Speaking of the Holy Trinity, we had the power of three. And yesterday was also the 3-3 portal. This message is also timeless, but we're also bringing in the energy of the 3-3 portal. So if you're here, if you have decided to be here with me 11 minutes in, most likely you're on this path of really learning who you are. You've been through a lot of trauma. And in that, you learn to weave your power, your purpose, your peace in that. And you've come to a point where you are unapologetic of who you are. You know who you are. And you've done a lot of work of cleansing the people-pleasing and the unhealthy relationships that you just attracted when you needed them at that time because you too were operating from that disbelief in yourself. But you've been doing so much work with your subconscious mind and reprogramming the limiting beliefs that aren't needed anymore. So I do want to say congratulations to you for doing that work of determination, of practice, of courage, because it ain't no easy route to sit with yourself and to analyze with grace your light and your dark, because we all have the light and dark within us. But there comes a time where we have to choose the path. And if you're here, you've chosen the path of light. And that's not to say that you're not going to have experiences of darkness, because you will, because change literally is inevitable. Change is the most constant thing. We're going to figure something out, and then we're going to have to up level again and figure it all out again and again and again and again, because that's life. So the real question is, how do we get more comfortable with change versus fearing it? The moment that I decided I'm going to get comfortable and curious with change versus fear it, that's when I started to even understand what it is to be in my power. So maybe that's a sign, maybe that's an invitation, maybe you already know this and it's already a reminder. So welcome. Welcome to the new timeline of being in your power. I'm so proud of you. I truly am. Now, I have some cards here that I want to work with. And if you've been with me since the beginning, you know that I've been riffing. I've been kind of in this energy of just pressing play and seeing what needs to come through, because at the time, I had an 8-hour job, I had a place to be, I had a role, and I didn't have a lot of time to give to the things that I want to do, which is being here with you, to have this dialogue, to connect heart to heart, to be a vessel of light and love and abundance. So I started imperfectly. I started with just feeling what I'm feeling in the moment, and that was in my car most times, either to or from work. And I decided on February 28th, which is when all of the planets aligned, to resign from my job. And of course, there was the fear knocking on my door telling me, you need this job, you need the financial gain, like, what are you going to do? How dare you? Like, you're going to put yourself at risk. But there was an amalgam of moments telling me, if you stay here, everything will be the same. And it's funny, like, we can go actually in these decades where we avoid change until change is like, okay, you like, avoided me for this long, but I'm coming, I'm doing it. So there is kind of this energetic flow where we can avoid change, but what we avoid ends up blowing up in our face eventually. So I decided to listen to my body, because that's been kind of the big lesson of 2020, basically since 2022. So if you're here, you started awakening in 2022, most likely around that time, or a little bit before COVID. And you were just understanding the word alignment and embodiment. Like, embodiment wasn't even on your radar before 2020. We'll say 2020, yeah. But now embodiment is all you know. And I love to look at the word embodiment, because it literally has the word body in it. Embodiment, it's stepping into, it's leading from the energy, the vibration that is true to you and your heart and your mission. And you're listening not only to the mind, but your body and your soul. And the body is a map. The body keeps score. That is literally a book. And maybe that's a sign to read the book. I have not read the book yet, but it is on my list of books. So maybe it's our sign together. And I've said this before in another video, and I feel like it's like three times is a charm. So we have this message coming in twice for us. So maybe it's time to seek where we can find the book when we're at thrifted bookshops or just bookshops. Maybe it's time to just get curious with the book. But the body really is a compass, and it has a voice, it has a language, it has a vibration. And it's always speaking to us. If you're feeling tense in the body, if there's like fluttering or pain in a specific area, because every part of our body is a puzzle piece to the whole of us and has a message for us. Look up Louise Hay. She has the book, You Can Heal Your Life. She literally healed herself from cancer. And there's many people who are healing themselves through the power of their subconscious mind and cleaning from the subconscious to the subtle body back to the physical body. Because everything in life is energy. And energy is thought. Energy is our words. Energy is our actions. So if I'm saying this, there might be something in that book for you. So if it feels in alignment, go read the book. You can also look online for a PDF version of it. But Louise Hay was one of the pioneers of healing your body through the thoughts that you think. And she has basically a grid of like, okay, if you're feeling discomfort in the lower back or the upper back, most likely it's because you have financial hardship. So this is probably the thought that you're thinking, and this is what you can reprogram it to, so that the pain will be healed from the inside out, right? So I got a little sidetracked there, but basically our body knows. And I was feeling like my body was speaking to me that it's time to let go of this job that is okay, but I felt like I was always burnt out, I was always tired, I wasn't being true to myself, and I was in this job because of fear of not having enough. So I had to sit with myself and ask myself, wait a second, you have a true belief in the unknown. You've always taken big risks. What's different from now? So most likely if you're here, either you've taken that big risk and you're like, oh my God, I listened to my freaking heart and my mission, but like, oh shit, what now? Or you're getting curious. Confirmation burp. Shout outs to Jadina. She's one of my favorite, psychics on YouTube. Readers, channelers, and I love her so much. So shout out to her, because that's her thing. But most likely if you're here, you either did the darn thing, you took the risk, and now you're like, oh man, I did it. Okay, we did it. or you're like thinking about it and you're like, okay, I know that I'm not really where I need to be, but if I make this bold move, I really just don't know what's next, and I need to feel safe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull some cards. I have 3 decks here. I have the Akashic Tarot, I have Angel cards, and I have Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back. And her cards are more of a positive affirmation. So what we're going to do is we're going to get clarity from the Akashic Records. We're going to get an angel card that will give us kind of a notion of what we can focus on to gain that clarity based on the Akashic Records. And then we're going to have a positive affirmation of where we can, or what we can work on to infuse that love from the inside out, working with the body, working with the mind to be one, and trusting the spirit, to have faith in what we can't see. Because if we listen to the whispers of our heart, which is usually our soul's message, there's always a rhyme, there's always a reason for it. And it takes true bravery to listen to this beautiful heart vessel versus always listening to the mind. Society wants us only to listen to the mind and to forget about the heart. But when we do that, we feel like we're falling apart. Ooh, rhyming. So, that is the big challenge here, right? Are we going to listen to fear, or are we going to listen to love? So let's call spirit into the space. I already did a cleansing prayer before, but I'm feeling called to really just teach by example. So I'm going to show you how I clean my energy before I pull cards for the collective, because essentially I want to be a vessel for the collective. I don't want my ego to get in the way, which ego is not good nor bad. It's all an essence of balance. We need our ego sometimes. It comes in handy because it has an essence of, no, this is who I am, these are my values. So like when you stand up for yourself, you are operating a little bit from your ego. As I say that. So it's also not about shunning the ego, but how to work with the ego in a place of love, a place of abundance, a place of light for the highest good of all. So we're going to cleanse the energy with the sound and bring spirit, God, angels, or whatever you call the higher power into the space. Wherever you are, whether you're driving or sitting outside or in your room, wherever you are, just take this moment to ground. If you can, sit in a comfortable position where you can close your eyes, but if you can't close your eyes, just set an intention to be open, to be receptive, and to meditate as you're awake with your eyes open. So if you can, close your eyes and just take 3 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out, letting something go. Breathing in, noticing what's around you, sounds, temperature, etc. Breathing out, noticing what's within you. Breathing in, welcoming love, and breathing out, exhaling any fear. I'm going to ring the bell 3 more times, and as I do so, find your own rhythm of flow with your breath, breathing in and breathing out, using it as an anchor to ground you. If it helps, imagine a light circuit from the crown of your head shooting all the way down to the base of your spine or the base of your feet, and then growing roots, planting into the earth, into the consciousness of the collective, of the oneness. So I'm going to ring the bell. Focus on grounding yourself, surrendering what needs to be surrendered, welcoming in a higher power, a higher self, a higher love. Beautiful. Now we're going to pick our card of clarity. You can open your eyes if you haven't already. And I want you to just take a moment now to focus on what you are seeking clarity on. These cards have already been saged and cleansed from energy, so I'm going to go ahead and just shuffle. And in this time, just focus on what needs clarity. If you can write it in your journal real quick so you can have that like pen to paper energy. Maybe you write it in your notes real quick on your phone, or just come back to it later, keep it in your mind. But I want you to know and feel into what you need clarity on, because the essence here is really trusting your heart and not letting the voice of fear make decisions for you. If you're here until this moment, it's most likely because you want to choose love. So we need to call on the courage, the compassion, the wisdom of the heart to enter the space. So what does the collective need to know based on the Akashic Tarot? What does the collective need to know? What does the collective need to know to gain clarity? What does the collective need to know? Perfect. So we got the Scribe 12. This is such a beautiful card. As you can see, there's someone at a podium writing, and there's all these scribes of ideas, and there's community in the back. So I'm going to read this out loud. So 12, and it's interesting because when you add 12 up, it's 3, and we were just celebrating the 3-3 portals. We have the energy of the Trinity, which is kind of what we've been talking about since the beginning. So let's find the Scribe 12. This is the deck, by the way. It's such a beautiful deck. So let's see. If you're in a position where you can write with your journal, if you feel called, you can journal just some keywords or anything that feels like it's a reminder to you that you want to just get curious in your own time and space. So, the Scribe. The learned scribe writes at a high desk nearby are a number of other working scribes. In some ancient societies, scribes were simply copier of holy texts, but in many they were the most learned men of their time, people well versed in law, scripture, philosophy, history, and more. This card indicates a great upsweep in mind and study for you. If there is any subjects with which you'd like to acquire or reacquire yourself, do so. It's not just for the sake of study, although that's always a good thing. This period of higher mind and higher learning is nothing less than a change your life, or an ever-change-the-world opportunity. Just as the Wright brothers began by studying the flight patterns of birds, you can rise up on the wings of discovery now. There may be a teacher or even an entire school that can help you with this upliftment. Be sure to seek out the right person or place of learning. You could also become a writer or a teacher yourself at this time, elevating and contributing to others. If you're involved in any legal matters, there is a person who can help you with this. Let your great vision guide you to him or her. This could also be a time when you might find yourself writing proposals, grants, essays, blogs, articles, or books. Notice what compels you, and be sure to answer the call. Ooh, I love that. I feel like that goes hand in hand in kind of the dialogue that we've opened, because most likely your soul is yearning to operate and create from your passion, your purpose, your peace. You don't want to be in the mundane. Yes, there's beauty in the mundane, and we learn to find the magic in the mundane, but you've already initiated from that. You're ready to lead. You know who you are, And it's time to lead from that energy. So sit with yourself and really ask yourself, okay, what do I want to create? What do I want to literally bring into life? Maybe it is something with writing, right? Maybe it is, an essay, a blog, an article, a book, or maybe it's just writing those proposals to the places that you really want to work at, because again, you can be a leader, a part of a team. It's all about energy and mission, right? Are you putting your time, which is the most valuable thing, in an ecosystem that is attuned to what you believe in? Forgetting the paycheck, because the paycheck is easy, but are you really in alignment with what you believe in? Every day, are you taking conscious steps to fight with grace for that thing? So every card has like this Akashic force kind of notion, which is kind of like a little creative visualization that you can sit and meditate on. So this is what this card, the Scribe, has. Think of an interest that you would like to pursue. With a deep breath, feel your desire to make this discovery or expand it further. Find a book today that helps you open this door tomorrow. I love that. So some soul homework for you. After you finish watching this video, go into your library or go to a local bookshop, do a little prayer, and just ask your version of God, your angels, your higher power, whatever you call G-Dog. I like to call God G-Dog. G-Dog. What you need. What do you need to learn? Maybe there's some wisdom to help you gain that courage, that compassion, that wisdom. All right? So now we're going to pick an angel card to support the Scribe. What does the collective need to know from their angels, from God, from their higher power to help them support the energy of the Scribe card from the Akashic Tarot? What does the collective need to know? Okay, we got 2 cards. Wow. So we got study and playfulness, which is so on point. You can't make this up. Literally, the Scribe is all about study. And it's kind of funny because we've been talking a lot about feeling into the body. And I do want to clarify that it's very, very important to make sure that the mind, the body, and soul are always balanced. That's how we lead from alignment. But when one of those vessels are, taking over the show, that's when it's really hard to understand what to do next because something's out of alignment. So it seems like God, the angels, are guiding you to, yes, go, take a chance on yourself, fill your cup with the things you want to learn, and have fun doing so. Life is fun. Our hardships, even though they're shitty, they also give us perspective, right? When everything is all beautiful, things get boring. Hardship builds resilience in us. So how can we notice kind of like just the 3D reality of being a human beings, right? Like sometimes, I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's so easy to just make surviving our natural state, because it's like, well, if I do what I love, who's going to pay the bills? If I do what I love, who's going to take care of X, Y, Z? Well, if I do what I love, then, what happens if I can't pay rent? Or if I do what I love, what happens if, my partner doesn't feel loved or doesn't support me, or honestly, it can be endless. But these three cards are encouraging you to take the leap of faith, because when you do, there's always going to be a higher power, a rainbow that's going to come forth. When we lead from the heart, we're always guided and protected for. And essentially, it's like when you step into the unknown and you trust, you are building the bridge with your intentions and with your energy and with your bravery to trust you versus all the voices around you. When we play, we manifest. I think it's so funny how it's a very wounded masculine energy of like, you gotta work hard, you gotta hustle. If you don't hustle, your dreams won't happen. You won't get all the things you need. And okay, I get the value of work. We gotta balance the divine feminine and masculine. But the thing is, we can do more by doing less. When you put play as a priority, as a part of your productivity, you realize that it actually opens doors for you. When you go and hang out with your friends, when you go to that coffee shop and bring your book and allow yourself to have time to fill your cup, you go for that beach walk, you go for that hike, you go just park your car on the side of the road before on the way home so you can see the sunset or the sunrise or whatever you define as play. Maybe it's going to play soccer with your homies. Maybe it's going to play tennis. I don't know. You know what that is for you. For me, I get so much joy by going for a hike with my dog and bringing a book and sitting under a tree for like 2 hours. That to me is play. So this card is giving you permission to play so you can attract. And not only attract, but get the answers of what you need to do next. But by being present and adding more joy into your life, you'll understand what the mind needs to fulfill its mission and its purpose and its peace. Okay? So hopefully that gave you clarity. I am not going to read the booklet of it because I know these cards from the back of my head. And from the back of my head, I don't even know if that makes sense. But basically, study and the scribe are saying the same thing. Okay? And like I said, playfulness is just coming back to that childlike enchantment, because we're the closest to God when we're in the energy of youthfulness, of our childlike essence. So this is an opportunity for you to get closer to the divine essence of you and God and your angels and your higher power and source and whatever you call your team of omnipresent beings. Because when we play, we're the closest to God. So last but not least, we're going to pick an affirmation. Oh, there we go. It just came out. An affirmation from Gabrielle's deck, The Universe Has Your Back. And what we got is, I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. Say it with me now if you feel called. I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. Before we close, if you can, bring your hands to your heart, and we're going to affirm this affirmation by doing a drum beat with our heart, and we're going to connect to the body, and we're just going to ground into this presence of the words that we're speaking, because our words have so much power and potency. We cannot underestimate the power of linguistics. If you're driving, just affirm with me, and you can come practice this on your own time, like when you're on your meditation pillow, and you can just practice this affirmation with your heartbeat. But for those who can sit and really ground into this Let's do it. And hey, maybe if you're driving or walking, you can actually like, well, if you're walking, you can do this. But if you're driving, maybe you can like use like the wheel and like kind of, I don't know, use it as a drum if it's safe, only if it's safe, okay? Okay, so we're gonna ground down and say the affirmation. I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. I am the loving energy of the universe. And feel that power. I am the loving energy of the universe. 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 Beautiful. So just know you can explore that practice with any affirmation that you want. The beauty of tapping the body is we're waking up not only the heart, we create more space, and then we're also like waking up the body to like give us the answers that it knows within, because the body, like we said, it keeps score, and it also needs to like move, it needs to vibrate, it needs to like flow, so it can create more space for the newness that is here for you and for us and for all of us as a collective. All right, my dearest one, this was fun. I hope that there was something special here for you to receive or to think about. And of course, always, always, always use your discernment. Take what you need. Leave behind what you don't. Okay? And if you had fun here, if you feel the energy of love, light, and abundance, and you're like, oh my God, this is fun. This is just vibrational epicness. Consider subscribing. I would love to have you a part of this tribe. And when you do subscribe, I can slowly understand what is this beautiful web we're connecting. Who is the collective here? My soul fam. We are soul fam. And it's such a freaking honor to find you, to have found each other in this sea of 70 plus billion people. And here we are connecting. So welcome. I love you so, so much, and I believe in you. If you want to share anything down below of what resonated with you, I would love to hear that, or where you are from in the world. I'm from California, like I said. So anyways, just grounding down before we end. The light in me sees the light in you. See you soon, my love.